What's up, beautiful people? So we are going to talk about how we're going to plan our entire week in 20 minutes or less. I have my glasses and I don't have a stick of makeup on this face, so you know we're dead serious about what it is that we're getting ready to do. So before we get started, if you've never watched any of my videos, what we're about to do is plan our entire week. We're going to make it simple. We are going to make it doable. We're going to make it a way and approach that it doesn't matter what planner you have. So relieve yourself right now. You don't need the planner that I have. You don't need the planner that anybody has. Use what you already have. You don't have to have a planner at all. It is about the concept of how we step back. We look what is behind us and what we were able to accomplish in the previous week. We capture what's ahead of us in the week that's to come. And we make sure that our to-dos and our goals are always anchored in our quarterly goals as well as the words that resonate with us. So first thing we're going to do, if we are going to plan in about 20 minutes, give or take. And like I said, I have a timer. I like to set my timer. You don't have to set your timer. The goal isn't for you to be racing with the clock. The goal is to make sure that you are efficiently using your time. So what I suggest that you do before any other thing is that you take out whatever planner it is you have and you look at what is in front of you for this week. So that means you are going to map out all of your meetings, all of your appointments, all of the places that you are physically obligated to be at. If you have to take your child to practice at 3 o'clock, if you have to go and volunteer at noon, if you have a doctor's appointment at 8:30 a.m., if you have a meeting with your team at 2 p.m., every single place you physically are required to be is the very first thing that you're going to do for the week. So for me, that means I would open up my planner and I would go to my days. And y'all, we are really talking about real time. Today is February the 28th, tomorrow's March 2nd. When you see this video, or March 1st, this video is only one day behind. So I open up my planner. What I'm about to do is I'm going to look at my Google Calendar and I'm going to look at all of the meetings that I have and all of the things that I have to do this week, and I am going to map them out on each of the days that they are corresponding. I always like to start here because this allows me to get a feel and a vibe for how busy my week is. So if I was to open up my Google Calendar, which is my calendar that I use for both work and personal life, and I really just use the one calendar. So I can see that for Monday, which is March the 2nd, I have school visits all day long. We have the state agency is actually coming to my district and I will be doing that. So I'm going to map out each of those things that I have. That's where I physically have to be. In the evening, I'm not physically required to be anywhere. If I go to the next day, from 8 to 10 o'clock, I have school visits. From 10:30 to 11:30, I have a one-on-one meeting with guidance and counseling. At 11 o'clock, I have a IGC coding meeting. At 1 o'clock, I have a school admin meeting. At 2 o'clock, I have a health services meeting. And at 3 o'clock, I have a mental health and school support meeting. Pretty busy day. So I'm gonna sit there and map that out. Your calendar may be very packed like mine. Your calendar may be light. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. I want you to sit down and I want you to map out all of the things in the places that you physically have to be. So if I was to come back and you could see the things that I just said I had to do: school visits, guidance and counseling, IGC coding, school admin, health services, mental health. That's for that day. So you're going to use whatever tool it is that you have and you're going to map those things out. And that's what it's going to look. You're going to do that for the entire week. That time probably shouldn't take more to 5 to 10 minutes for you to map that out. I don't see why it would take more than that time. Honestly, for me, it's just writing things out, even though they're digitally recorded on my Google Calendar. So for me, that's about 5 minutes. All right, so the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go back and you're gonna look at the previous week. And this is where I like to go backwards and I like to see, did I do the things that I said I was gonna do? Now, if you're not used to the concept of having quarterly goals or having what I like to call anchor words, let me quickly bring you up to speed with that. So anchor words are the words that you choose for a quarter or the words that you choose for a year on how you want to feel. So for this quarter, I wanted to feel joy. I wanted to feel peace. I wanted to feel adventure. And I wanted to make sure that every goal that I have ties back to those words. So I really try to make sure, outside of the things I'm obligated to do at work, that all my personal time goes back to joy, adventure, peace, fulfillment. And so those are my anchor words. And so I also have quarterly goals. So those are the goals that I set at the beginning of the quarter, and I do this every 12 weeks. And so just as a reminder, just so you can see the concept of it, my goals this quarter were to run a 5K without stopping, learn how to color grade and film cinematic angles, get all 13 of my schools working towards being Fs, And then my bonus goal was to get an average of 7 hours of sleep. So my goals for the week are normally somehow tied to my quarterly goals. I asked myself some very fundamental questions, and I'm going to put them on the screen for you too as well. I asked myself, what were my wins for the week? What were the things that I was able to accomplish this past week that I'm very proud of? So in this past week, if I look back on what I was able to accomplish that I'm very proud of, I was able to get up and go run outside several times this week. I hadn't run outside in a while, and this quite honestly is probably going to be one of the last weeks in probably a while where it's actually still cool enough to go outside and run. So I'm proud of that. The other thing I'm proud of is I visited all the schools that I said I was going to visit, and I was able to have really good conversations with those principals about the work that we have ahead of us that we really need to focus on and get done. The other thing I was really proud of this week was that I went and voted, and I made sure that my husband went and voted and my kids went and voted because, you know, y'all. So I went and voted, and so those are just some of the things off the top of my head that I think that I'm proud of this week. And I actually practice a lot of color grading, and I'm really getting a lot better at it. I'm not color grading this video, but I'm gonna start messing around with some color grading, and y'all will see it in my video. So I'm super proud of that too as well. So I always talk about what my wins are, and that's where I start when I'm looking at, okay, that is a good anchor for how I'm gonna feel about the week that I'm going into. Because trust me, y'all, it doesn't matter if you didn't get everything done that you wanted to do. You definitely had some wins, and I suggest that you start there. So then after I think about what my wins are, which usually takes about 1 to 2 minutes, then I think about how did I do on the quarterly goals that I set forth for the week. So I spend anywhere from, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes reflecting on these were the big 3 that I had for the week. How did I do on that? What was the reason why I didn't get things done? Or what did I do to make sure that the tempo was moving in a way that I was able to get things done? Was it because I got more sleep? Was it because I was a little bit more physically active and that made me feel more productive? Was I a little bit better at my time? What was it about this week that I was able to be successful? Because this was a week that I needed, because going to physically run outside in the morning at 5 a.m., it does do something for your adrenaline and it does something for your discipline. So I have to look back and, okay, what did I do to put myself in a situation? And honestly, if I'm being very honest with you, y'all, my husband has been so tired when he's come home from work this week. He's been going to bed like 8 o'clock. And because he's been going to bed at 8 o'clock, then I've been going to bed just naturally earlier because it's like the house is shut down. And I think because I've been getting more sleep, it was a lot easier for me to run. So he may be on to something with this whole going to bed on time thing. I might need to look into that. Then step 3. So then in step 3, this is where I think it takes the most time. So this is a good 7 to 8 minutes, maybe 10. So about half the time right here. I go back and I look at and I brain dump all of the things that I need to do for the whole week. So that is, I need to turn a report in, I need to call somebody back, I need to return something. I brain dump everything that I possibly could have to do that's coming up for the week. And I also go back and look at the things that I brain dumped the week before that I did not do from the previous week. And so I'll give you a perfect example. I've been saying that I need to call the ENT doctor and make an appointment for 3 weeks in a row. So I brain dumped that last week, and that was something to do, and I didn't do it, even though I scheduled it and time blocked it to do. So once again, reality, we keep it real here. I need to get it done. So I brain dump everything that there is that I need to do. And then on my particular planner, and you can put it wherever you want to, doesn't matter, but I'll show you an example of what it looks like for me and my planner so you can just get an understanding of what it looks like. Is then I dump it all out here. So in my particular planner over here, there is a place right here where you could put your personal things and your professional things. So I put review senior tracker, visit these 7 schools, look at this, review a discipline report, work on a presentation. Those are the things that I needed to get done. And then over here, it's personal, complete receipts, check on mom's estate, ENT appointment, make your hair appointments. So those are my personal things that I need to do. So I really sit there and think about, okay, what are the things that I have to accomplish this week? And then this is where the magic goes. And if you haven't seen my video on time blocking, I suggest you go back to do that. I figure out what's the best day I possibly could have to do those things. So next to that, I'll put M or a W or a T. And I'm like, ideally, it would be best to try to get this done this Tuesday. So I'm obviously not going to put my hair appointment on the day that I just told you I had like 25 meetings. Because number one, I gotta go to work, so I ain't got time to get my hair done. And those are just things that I wouldn't do. So you really have to sit back and reflect. And I think when you brain dump all of your to-dos in a way that lets you get them all out of your system, then you're able to strategically determine when they should be best scheduled. I'm telling you that even the intention of planning when it happens is going to be powerful enough to get most things done, if not everything done. So now we have mapped out all of our events that we have to be to. We have looked and identified at our accomplishments for the previous week and celebrated. We have gone back and swept and looked at the things that we didn't do from the previous week so we can make sure we bring them and drag them over to this week. We have brain dumped all the things that we can think of in the moment that we need to do, and we've put them in a personal and a professional category so that we understand your categories may be different. Your categories may be church and personal. Your categories may be professional and children's activities. It's completely up to you on what that looks like, but those are my two. And I really strongly suggest, and I say this over and over and over again, that you don't have more than 2 columns, because I think when you get into 3, 4, 5 columns, it becomes complex, you become overwhelmed, and this process will definitely exceed the 20-minute mark. So once I have all of that mapped out, I have a clear indication of where I need to be. I have a very clear indication of what it is that I need to do, and I make sure that what are the big 3 things that I need to get done this week as it relates to my quarterly goals. That's how I finish, and the things that I need to do. So based on just the things that I've written down for this week, my big 3, once again, being tied back to my quarterly goals, my first one is to run 3 times, a minimum of 3 times this week outside. So that's going to be tied to my quarterly goal. It's tied to my health. It's tied to joy. It's tied to peace. It's tied to fulfillment. It all works together in a nice little bow. The second thing that I need to do is something that is actually not directly tied to my quarterly goals. And I have talked about this before. Sometimes your big 3 aren't necessarily going to be tied to your quarterly goals. And this is just one of those times. I have some very serious financial paperwork that I need to investigate and do dealing with my mother's estate. And it is adulting at its worst, if you've ever been there, but it has to get done. And I've been kicking this can down the road for a while, and it's got to be something that I do, and I have to do it in pieces. So it's got to be one of my big 3. I just can't put it off anymore, and so I've got to get that done. The second thing, or excuse me, the third thing that I have to do this week, this is an absolute must, is I actually need to plan out a video that I'm going to be shooting that will be uploading next month that I'm working with a brand on, which I'm super excited about. But I need to sit down, map it out, film it out, script it out, because I am type A Virgo all day, every day, and I want to make sure that it is the best that it can be, and I want to use this video to experiment with my color grading, which is tied once again to my other quarterly goal. So I need to make sure that that's taken care of. And then everything else is either going to be work or professional. It's a to-do. It's not tied to my big 3. But at the end of next week, if I'm reflecting, if I have taken care of the things I have to do on my mom's estate, if I have mapped out that video that I said I was going to do, and I've run 3 times a week, then that is an A+ week for me, because I hit my big 3. And when I step back and I think about, I'm going to probably do 50 or 60 things. But if I can get those 3 things done, then I've really moved the needle forward on the things that I set forth to do way back in January for this quarter. So everything is always tied together. And like I said, every week is not always perfect. Here's a great example of a week where I am not picking one of my big 3 that's tied necessarily to my quarter goals, but it's the movement and the work that has to get done. So, as always, I hope this video was so helpful for you. I hope you're able to glean and take components and pieces of it that work for you.